Motion sickness. In second grade, my family went to Disney World with Make-A-Wish and stayed in a little village of dying kids. At the parks, fast passes cut us to the front of lines. People stared as my brother rolled by. The question hung heavy. What was wrong? When I looked at him, I asked the same question. I asked how the heat of the park made him feel. I asked what he thought of the trip. I asked myself how he always felt. But he couldn't answer. First park, first ride, a Cat in the Hat roller coaster in Seuss Landing. Years before, the movie had clawed white scars in my memory. A grown man clad in fur, whiskers jutting from weathered cheeks, purple jelly smeared across the children's furniture. Within moments of the cart starting, nausea rose and I threw up in my mouth. Between turns and hills, my parents whispered of motion sickness and medicine, and I thought of the scene in the movie when the kids rode their unconscious nanny like a cart through their deformed house. At least they didn't vomit. For the rest of the trip, I held my brother's hand and stepped aside as we got to the front of the rides, feeling breakfast rising. My brother only went on the tame rides, so we sat together and waited, and I wondered if the same motion sickness grabbed him. The sensory conflict theory explains motion sickness as when the body's three main sensory inputs send mixed signals the brain cannot handle. When I think of my brother, I still feel the mixed signals. The world, the ashes, the funeral all proclaim he is lost. But he cannot be, because how does a star blink out of existence? No, he was meant to shine and last longer, even if doctors said he wasn't. They said he was lucky to make it to 17. We have 4 Netflix profiles under our account. My parents, my sister's, mine, and his. 2 years and no one has used his. Once a week, I click on his profile to see the continue watching bar, forever locked between scenes of Shrek. I see the recommended movies, all that the algorithm thinks he would enjoy, but won't be able to verify. Whenever I think of him, it takes a moment to switch to past tense. In English, I reflexively say Jake is and have to correct myself to Jake was. In Spanish, when I deliberately consider the translation of every word, it's easier to remember. Mi hermano era. And when my teacher corrects it to mi hermano es, I let him. The transition between tenses is bumpy, and I feel the motion sickness rising again. I am back in Seuss Landing, but this time I cannot hold his hand and avoid the line.